It's v.h.s.x. What do you mean?
Alright everybody, welcome back to a brand new video. Today we're going to be looking at a summary, a dev stream summary that was suggested by one of you guys in the Discord community. So if you want to go ahead and suggest videos for discussion, and go ahead and join the Discord, accept the rules with the knife emote, speak with the rest of us about movies, novels, TV shows, DVD, other stuff. And so we're going to get into it. This is from MintSkull, titled Trickster Update Custom Auras Dev Stream Summary. So I'm really curious to kind of hear, what MintSkull has to say, I guess, but also to hear what you guys think in the comment section. But I'm going to quickly cover each section here briefly. You can watch the full video on your own, of course, if you need to, but I just wanted to give my thoughts on, in general, everything that is within the PTB.
And part of it. First of all, let's talk about the Grimoire, as there are more updates regarding the killer power state. The devs showed the exile power and how it was prototyped originally, and what you had to do is survive for a period of time while catching gems and avoiding pillars of light in order to increase your escape progress. However, the devs said that the overall feeling regarding this mechanic was that there was no interactivity on it, even with the gems. So, the new mechanic is that the hopeless exile is going to be very similar to a hook state, as in a punishment, and if you get hit by the pillars, you will have your sacrifice progress rate increased faster. Think of the—
So I did kind of like what they were kind of pitching in the first sort of iteration there, as we saw with the old version versus the current version. Personally, I do think that at least offers something, but obviously I'm not really too pressed about them switching it over to just kind of it being a hook state kind of thing. It's fine, I guess, and I think either way it's kind of interesting because it looks like they're trying to add a new location, similar to if you guys are familiar with the Halloween events and they have like the void. It seems like they might have something similar where you're sent to a different location because of the punishment, I guess, being given from the monster here, I guess the angel in this case.
like a unique hook state similar to Pyramid Head, allowing this killer to potentially bypass hook perks too. Additionally,
I do like that idea because there are a lot of things that are in the game that are kind of difficult to deal with a lot of characters. And Decisive immediately comes to mind, or even like Deliverance being a thing, or other perks like that. So having more characters that are able to directly counter these things is very nice. Because it will just make playing the game just a little bit more enjoyable than before, as we know. And there's a lot of effects that come off of hook that are pretty strong, so it's good to be able to at least have something within your base kit when you only have the 4 slots, 4 perks regardless. Now there are some characters that do pretty well against certain unhooked perks and stuff like that, so Chucky comes to mind immediately for Decisive. Like I know DS really doesn't work too well on him, and that's like that I can say with full confidence at least. And then obviously Pyramid Head also comes to mind immediately because of the fact that the cages do prevent you from getting hit with the S and prevents Deliverance and stuff like that. So those are nice. Good to have another thing that will help out when there aren't too many options left for a lot of killer players, I would say, when it comes to viable, fun characters to play.
the developers said that the killer being able to teleport to the exile was removed from the game because it made its kit significantly more complex for both sides. However, because a lot of players want to enter this pocket dimension, the devs might add it back.
So you heard it there. So they say that they made it too complex. Now, what I'm understanding from that statement, and this is something I've covered previously within the Wesker getting nerfed video, is the fact that it seems like they've been trying to remove a lot of skill expression and remove a lot of the, in this case, the complexity that a lot of characters have for some reason. And I do think it's possible that because a vast majority of the player base on this game are just hyper casual, and just refuse to learn counterplay, it does make sense that they want to lean towards something simple. Because even people trying to play certain characters, like if it's way too tricky to even start playing them in the first place, I'm thinking of like pre-rework Singularity. I find it unlikely that they would want to continue playing that character, or at least want to stay consistent on that character, for the vast majority. And Singularity, previous Singularity comes to mind. And obviously, with the removal of skill expression for different characters. In this recent case, you see that with Wesker, having that only the most dedicated of these Wesker players are actually kind of pulling off these sort of plays and grabs and things like that to make the character very flashy and very interesting to watch and to play, for some unknown reason. So we've also seen that with Blight, technically speaking, with the hug tech removal. I mean, now Blight, at least to me, still feels very clunky. I'm not really super, super happy to play him at any point. You name it. I mean, there was even a minor thing that we've even seen with Ghostface. He actually used to be able to crouch, lean, and then stand up. And he was able to actually stalk in a lot more consistent ways. That was also removed. So there's like a lot of things that I think add a lot of complexity to these characters that just kind of get removed and for unknown reasons. And it's unfortunate, but that is the design philosophy it seems like they're trying to go with. So now I wanted to touch on the actual like power of the new character coming out, because of the Grimoire Killer power, which I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys what it used to be.
Which previously was shown as a laser that would injure survivors when connecting with them. However, the feedback was that this power lacked depth and skill expression. In other words, it was way too basic, so it was changed.
Now, personally, I really like the idea of like shooting a beam. Like it looks cool, at least to me. It looks like you can actually, practice, get your aim right, but somehow it lacks depth, which is really strange. I'm not really too sure what that means in this case, because I don't know how much more depth you can add to using a beam, but here we are. And personally, I like the animation. I think it looks really cool. But if you haven't seen it already, just buckle your seatbelts, because this is gonna be something.
To now be fired like an orbital laser coming from the sky that you can control, can go through objects while slowing a bit, and it becomes faster the longer you hold it. So this might be the new killer power.
So as you can see here, instead of us getting a unique beam ability or something that can actually be, pretty cool to play, pretty, like focusing on your accuracy, maybe like going for cool snipes or things like that, now we're getting Vecna again. So now they say it could be changed again, but like with the sort of clip, all we're seeing is just Vecna again. Like not too happy about this personally. I think this, like seeing this be added or potentially being added to the character, has completely removed all my interest in the character. So when the character does release, hopefully they'll make it a little more interesting than this, but they probably won't. But if the character comes out with this type of shot, I most likely will not be playing the character. The same way with the Crossu, where I had no interest in playing that character, and I will not play that character. And at least I wouldn't even use my my shards on it. I think we might do the same thing for this character too, because it doesn't seem like it's very interesting. Like we already have Vecna, well in this case the first, who does the same thing pretty much. So I'm like, yeah, this isn't very unique. I mean, like we already, if anything, it's even worse, because if the beam is all like flying from above, anyone can see that and just dodge out of the way. So like it really just doesn't look that interesting to me. So I don't know. It's a bit of an L from me, I would say. I'm not really into it. I think it's kind of bad. Like, and it looks way too counterable. I'm not into it. So I went ahead and jumped forward because there are a couple things that can be discussed, like the perk descriptions, which is like a minor like just little detail difference. I'm not really thinking it needs like a full discussion about, oh, they're changing the perk descriptions. If they're gonna make it easier for it to be understood, that's cool. Custom auras, same thing, pretty nice. Then that's a good change. And I've even spoken a little bit about the standardization of the killer actions as well. So like, if you want to see more details about that, you can check the original video. But we're gonna be touching on the fog vial buff. And let's go ahead and take a listen. Now the thing is, right?
For every single,
I've spoken about fog vials, like, you know, pretty much constantly in the past when it was out, and lo and behold, right, like we're actually going to be seeing a fog vial buff now. Personally, I thought fog vials were pretty ridiculous on release, and with proven evidence from multiple sources, like that this fog vial item was ridiculously broken. And to this day, people still think that it was balanced. I don't know how. I mean, there was like, we had numerous people showing evidence of disproving that, but somehow, you know, I guess just ignorance magically means everything is fact. So I don't know. But regardless, it's interesting to see that we're gonna get a fog vial buff. Now let's go ahead and take a look
fog
here.
vials were buffed to make them all the same for every single map, so there is no problems in different maps. And now the outside is completely blank to look inside, but once you are in, you will be able to see everything clear. So think of it as a gigantic fog crystal like in the Halloween event.
So my question right off the bat was, like, when I did see this, was like, why wasn't this like the very first iteration of the item? Like, this would have been a normal, you know, smoke bomb item that you probably have seen in any other video game, especially shooters. You know, I figured as much, right? I thought that was very strange. I am glad that they're actually like fixing it so it actually works in the way that I had even said back then when it was released. Like, why didn't it work this way? Or why not just, you know, basically make the fog crystal just an item? Like, that would have literally been just a simple just copy paste at that point. Save yourself the time. And I think that this version is a lot better. A lot more balanced, I would say, in a lot of ways, because like I even stated previously about the fog vial, I always said like it should be a line of sight blocker. It should not be something you just pop in the middle of a chase and just instantly get away. Like, that just doesn't make any damn sense, especially because it would it would literally hide sound. It would hide the scratch marks. It would hide the person too. So like all three different forms of information are being stripped away from a chase. So that was one of my biggest problems with the item as it was, is that you're stripping away literally every single thing, and then it would constantly keep recharging. So no matter what chase you go to, they're popping it. You can't see, hear, or know where they're going, and then they can keep getting away. So if 4 people have it, you're just never completing a chase. So it's very ridiculous back then. Now thankfully they've adjusted it so it's better now.
I personally think that this is not that good still, but it is better compared to the previous version. Also, there are now 4 charges compared to the 2 for all rarities of fog vials. The devs noted that they want it to be a strategic item that prevents a chase from happening.
This is exactly what I was saying that it should have been regardless. Like, anytime you go into a game where smokes are being used, it's usually to hide line of sight. Like, that's what it's for. I mean, a perfect example I can use right now, Rainbow Six Siege. There's a character that literally had like an on the attacker side glass who has a thermal scope. So one of the things that people do for strategy is they'll throw smoke bombs and he'll aim through it and see if people are walking around and be able to shoot them because they can't see him, but he can see them. Even in like other games like Fortnite, they had smoke bombs too. And what were they used for? To block lines of sight. Like, it's just weird to me that like they wanted the item to do this crazy, like, in terms of like the players, I should say, wanted the item to be so broken and crazy, and it's like, no, like it's a smoke bomb pretty much. Like it should hide view. Like that's what it's for. You know, and I even after its nerf, when I would use it, that's how I would use it, especially even in 2v8. If I saw that the aura icon was popping up, I was like, let me put down the smoke bomb because it hides aura. So I was like, cool, I'll put it on and then help save my team, basically, in case they're, you know, maybe they're scouting around trying to figure out where to go next. I can hide everybody with the smoke bomb so that they have to then go for somebody else that may be less strategic, giving us an advantage.
Instead of allowing you to escape the chase. So it fixes a bit of the accessibility issue that this item had when it was first
Exactly.
released.
That was another thing with the fog vial item that people love to forget, is that it definitely affects people that have you know, visual issues or conditions or whatever have you. So people that maybe have vision and need that sort of accessibility were not able to see. So I've even covered that previously. So, and then he also covers the, you know, the new map and the trickster, which I've covered that in a previous video as well. Which hopefully you guys will enjoy that one. But I'm curious to hear your guys' thoughts on the topic I guess the topics at hand here. Like, what do you think of these changes? What do you think of at least the summary here? Like, and I think there's a lot of good things and a lot of bad things that are coming in with this BTB. And at least with the dev update summary that we're actually getting here, like it seems like pretty positive for the most part, but there are obviously a little bit of wrinkles in this, and obviously they're probably going to be voiced by a lot of the community. But I mean, this is how it goes, you know, unfortunately. A lot of things sort of just are like this with the game. Like, and with any update, you're gonna get a lot of good things, and you're gonna get a lot of bad things, and unfortunately it is not really a way to predict what's gonna happen, you know. But anyway, I want to hear your thoughts in the comment section. Consider hitting the thumbs up and subscribing. If you really want to support the channel, you can become a member on the YouTube or Patreon, and I will see you guys in the next one. All right, let's go ahead and read off our members from Patreon. Pro King 101, YouTube members: Kargan Falcon, Evil Blade, Cap Courteous, WTF You're Not JLo, Evil Peach, Cozy Bozy, Theo Endire, Dole Whip, Noxus, Zero Mocker, Jack, Christian, and Crow Vader. And for the Twitch, we have Final Girl Bunny, Leona Art, Zazabu, Evil Blade, Danica, Crow Vader, Cake is a Road, Zeneron, Ginsburg, Mr. Morik, Kevin, Zero Mocker, Ashai Boo, and Gryffindor. Appreciate you guys supporting. Really means a lot. If you want to become a member, you can go ahead and join through Patreon or YouTube members, or even sub on Twitch. See you guys in the next one.